Everybody, welcome into another Alephium Gazette AMA. I'm your host, Ron. A little bit about me, if you don't know, I'm an ambassador, a project creator, um, but at most, I'm a community member just like everybody else, right? And that's what we're here for. So today we have a little bit of a special episode. We have two projects, Aura Markets and also WeMineFi. So the way this will work is the first 30 minutes we will be focusing on Aura. Second 30 minutes, we will be focusing on WeMineFi, so should take us about an hour. Um, Also, one thing to note, I want to put it out there that I am involved with the Aura project, but today I am just a Spaces host. So we have Hayden here on the Aura account. He is the founder. I'll be asking him questions. I won't be answering them. I'm just hosting today. So um, one more thing, housekeeping wise, that we should mention is that we do have a giveaway. Um, we are giving away 3 gold whitelist spots to the Aura token sale on AlphaPad. It hasn't, we haven't announced a date or anything yet, but yeah, we'll be giving away that. So pretty much all you'll need to do is be in the space, and we'll give you some directions. Do we have a link ready to post yet, or are we waiting for the end to do like the link and the password and stuff? I think probably waiting for the end, right? Okay, we'll start now then. Um, anyway, sorry, we'll get into some questions. Or hold on, sorry, I'm all over the place right now. Um, okay. Gazette, did you post that anywhere, or should I just go ahead and throw it up in here? Throw it in there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna post a link to I'm posting a link to the presence protocol thing. It says who's Ron. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but we're gonna get started. I need a damn assistant or something. Um, all right, so we're gonna start off with Aura. We have Hayden here. Um, we will get a link pinned momentarily, but for now, I'm the question guy, so I'm asking questions. So, Hayden from Aura, what's up? How you doing, man?
Hola, how are you?
All right. A little bit tired, but that's
Yeah,
Monday
same
for
here.
you.
Yeah,
So, pretty much what we're going to start here with is just a little bit of an intro to what we always do. So, if you want to tell us a little bit about you, maybe how you got into crypto, and maybe how that leads into how you found Alephium.
sure. So, my name's Hayden, if you don't know who I am. I'm the co founder with Ron and the lead developer for Aura. I have like 4 to 5 years of software development experience. I specialize in like front and back end for mobile apps and websites, mainly with a focus in AI, which I guess now is kind of redundant since everyone's focusing on AI, but it was cool 2 or 3 years ago when I'd say that. Um, I've been really involved in the crypto space for maybe the last like decade, and I'm really passionate about Alephium, which I think we all are since we're all here. Um, I got into crypto and Alephium back in like 2012 or 2013 during the first like real big bull cycle. I saw a lot of potential in crypto, and I haven't really looked back since. Um, since then, I got into mining, and I've been in and out of the market many times over the last decade. Um, but I first discovered Alephium when I was looking at mining profits last year, actually, and then after doing a lot of like extensive research on the chain, I got a really strong conviction that Alephium will be a top 10 coin one day. So that's why I decided to build on it, and that's why I converted all of my crypto to Alephium. I went all in. So um,
Yep.
I mean, like, why did I build on Alephium? For the scalability and speed, but also because we're still a relatively small ecosystem. So there's a lot more opportunity to be the first movers in like in bringing prediction markets to Alephium and tapping into like this great community. And yeah, I think that Alephium's strengths align really well with Aura's mission to offer a transparent, accessible, and rewarding decentralized prediction platform. Kind of a
Of
mouthful.
course.
Yeah, I think
Of
it's just a good
course.
fit, right?
Yeah. And that's something that we hear from a lot of projects that we talk to, is that a lot of people found Alephium through mining, and it's proof of work. So what else do you expect? I mean, that's also how I found Alephium.
Right,
Um
right.
and then some good points too, that those words always come out of my mouth, that you build somewhere small, there's a lot less competition, but you also have a lot more room to grow. So obviously we're all here for that. We're looking forward to that. So I was going to ask, why did you decide to build an Alephium? But we kind of already answered that. So we're going to focus on the project more now. So to start it off, just top level, what is Aura?
So Aura is a decentralized prediction market platform, which essentially, in simple terms, it's a place where anyone can predict the outcome of a future event and trade those predictions with others in a transparent and trustless, decentralized way. You can kind of think about it as like a blockchain powered betting exchange for real world events and crypto like trends, but built on Alephium's network. So essentially, users can create custom prediction markets. Like as an example, it would be like, will Alephium's price exceed $1 by June, right? And then you can buy and sell outcome shares. Like for that event, it would be, or for that market, it would be like yes and no shares. Um, and then users get payouts if they're in Alephium if their predictions are correct, right? But what makes it special is that it's community driven, from the market creation to the outcome resolution, and the community of like future Aura token holders are the ones that are in control, not any central authority, right? So the platform itself isn't going to be making any of the markets. It's all it's all about the users.
100%. And so, anyone that doesn't know, I'm really big into sports and sports betting and stuff. And one thing that I've seen around the scene lately is that prediction markets have been pretty popular, right? We've seen Polymarket pop up, we've seen Kalshi or Kalshi, however you say it, right around the time of the election, and then now even Robinhood has event contracts, right? So it's definitely a popular thing right now, and I think that running it on a blockchain and kind of making it community driven, decentralized, having governance and actual utilities too is huge. What do you think sets Aura apart from the standard prediction markets that people have heard of, like the ones I just mentioned?
Sure. So that's a good question, right? Like you don't want to just make a copycat of something else. So, when I had the idea to create Aura, I really wanted to build something that was community driven and not controlled by a central authority. Like a lot of those other prediction markets that you've mentioned are governed by a central authority, and so that brings into question a lot of like transparency issues without dogging on the other prediction markets. But essentially, there's four or five like things that set Aura apart from the other markets. So there's obviously the blockchain choice. So we're building on Alephium, which will give our users lower fees and faster transactions than the other prediction markets that usually run on Ethereum or like for Polymarket, Polygon. And for users, what that means is that trading on Aura will be quicker and cheaper. So you don't have to worry about like high gas costs or things like that. We also have the tier system. So when we release Aura token is really the cornerstone of the platform. It's what makes everything run. Um, and so we introduced a unique vaulting system that gives users tiers. So that's not something I've seen on other prediction markets. Maybe it exists somewhere, but I haven't seen it. So by staking Aura, you'll unlock benefits from voting power to fee sharing. So what that means is that it'll give us deeper engagement where our users aren't just bettors, they can become stakeholders, people who help govern and earn from the platform. And it's really a blend of a prediction market and like a DAO like governance. It's pretty unique. Um, Bringing us into like the community governance of markets. So what happens is the community decides which markets go live, right, through proposal voting, and then the the markets that are proposed, right, the ones that win the proposal round become markets. And when those markets are ready to resolve, so when those markets are done, right, when there's an outcome of yes or no, somebody can propose a resolution by putting up a small bond in ALF, and then if no one disputes it, then somebody will I'm sorry, then the market will resolve to whatever that proposal is, um, within 24 hours. And then if somebody disputes it, it goes to voting, right? And so people vote on those markets, and after a period of 24 hours, the winning side becomes the resolution. I know it's complicated, Ron, but it does make sense, I guess.
Well,
It's easy. I don't know.
I think it's one of those things like Alexium Finance where people are just going to have to play around with it to learn it, right?
Right,
Because Alexium sounded like a foreign language to me whenever it first came out, and now I'm like their biggest fan.
right,
So and there's some similarities too, kind of the people's choice, right? Like we're absolutely decentralized, and what markets go up is up to the people, right? So
yeah,
um I like that about it for sure. And so one thing you were mentioning, we're going to talk a little bit about the tier list more before we get into the token.
yeah.
Tier list is, or tier system rather, is um interesting because we've seen that be extremely successful for AlfPad, right? We've seen how that works. Obviously, it might not be exactly the same thing, but they've proved that was a good idea to implement. So let's talk more about the tier system and vaulting and how do they work and what do you get from having each tier.
Sure. So the vault system is, like I said, the really the cornerstone, and the Aura token as well is really the cornerstone of the platform. So we have 7 tiers: iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then our top tier, degenerate. And so when you stake your Aura in the vault, the amount you stake determines which tier you'll fall into. And the tiers have two main attributes. So there's the amount of voting power you have, and then there's the amount of fee share that you get for the markets that you propose. Um, so as an example, like the gold tier will cost 500,000 Aura, and you get 11 voting power. So what that means is when you go to vote on a proposal, or when you go to vote on an outcome, you get a weight of 11. So your vote counts for 11 votes. And then you also get an 11% fee share. So when users trade yes and no shares, or just any shares on a market, there's a 1% fee involved, and then you'll get 11% of the trading fees from that particular market.
So if I make a market about Will Ching tweet in the next day and it
Yeah.
gets, I say, 10,000 ALF of trading volume,
Sure.
1% of that is collected in fees. So I would make 11 ALF for being the creator of that if I had the gold tier.
If there was, you said if there was 10,000 in trade, whatever 1% of 10,000 is would be 100.
Yeah, 1% would be 100. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I'd get 11% of that. Cool,
yeah, that's
cool,
correct.
awesome. Sorry to make you do freaking math here live on the space.
No,
Um,
it's okay. Hey, I'm used to it, man. I was
um,
doing linear algebra yesterday for the pricing mechanism, so it's cool.
yeah, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. You've done much more. All right, so we're gonna move on to the token, but before we do that, I do have to mention that we are running a giveaway right now. We are giving away 3 gold whitelist spots to our AlphaPad launch. I did post a link in the comments to the Presence Protocol. If you're not familiar, it's really easy. You just go there and mint something, but you'll need a password, and that's why I am talking right now because I'm giving it to you. So it's going to be in all caps, Aura WeMineFi. That's AuraWeMineFi. I'm not saying it again. You'll have to go back if you want to hear it again. Um, so yeah, and it's only live for the next like 10-15 minutes. So make sure you go to the website, mint your NFT, and then we're going to be doing a raffle to pick out those 3 gold whitelist spots. Okay, moving on to the token. This is always my favorite part of these AMAs when we get to talk about the token.
Sure.
We talked a little bit about it. I just explained how it works and really its main utility within the platform.
Yeah. Sure. So I know that because everything is interconnected, I've kind of already touched on some of the aspects, but I'll just go over it again because this is obviously really important. So, as far as like governance and voting goes, Aura is fundamentally a governance token. If you hold Aura, you can stake it. We call it vaulting on the platform to give voting power. And this voting power lets you vote on new market proposals as well as on disputed outcomes. In other words, like Aura holders collectively govern which prediction markets are allowed on the platform and ensure that the outcomes are correct and unbiased. Um, and this is really the core to maintaining a decentralized, community-driven prediction market platform. Um, we can move on to like the tier staking benefits, but I've kind of already touched on that um, with the voting weights and the fee shares. Um, as far as like market creation privileges, so only Aura stakers or vaulters can create new markets, and it's a really important utility because it means that Aura is like a membership token for creators. So if you've staked enough to reach the lowest tier, you can propose markets. Um, Without Aura, you can still bet on the markets, but you can initiate a new market. And it ensures that the creators of the markets are aligned with the platform. It adds value to the Aura token, and it also makes it so like we don't get spammed with an immense amount of proposals, right? Like the another like important point about the Aura token is that it allows like a certain amount of authenticity and trust that the and like a quality because there's something on the line, right? And because these are like real people, they're not spam bots, you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I mean that's really the benefit of the Aura token, right? It allows you to propose markets. You can earn an amount of the trading fees from that market, and it also gives you increased voting power um, for outcome and proposals, right?
Well, yeah, and that's smart. And not to name any names, but we see some projects that just launch a token to have a token, right? And so
Right.
what I like to look at is, okay, how is it used? Why would anybody buy this, right? Is it just going to be something that people earn and then sell? Because
Right.
then I'm not going to buy that, and no, it doesn't sound like that. Obviously, there's no rewards in the token. We're not going to be diluting it. People are incentivized to not only buy it but also lock it up, just like we've seen work so well on AlphaPad. Um,
Sure.
so
Do you want me to go over like the tokenomics, like where everything's going?
um, yeah, I think that's probably important to cover if you want to go over that. I know we just released it with the docs, pretty much, right?
Yeah, it was released like a day prior to the docs, but it's included in there. If you want to you can post or pin the docs tweet if you want to, just so people have easier access to it if they want to like read as they listen or to help them ask questions.
Of course.
But yeah, so 50% of our token sale is going to be taking place on AlphaPad. There's no dates announced at this time, but it's not months away. It's going to be pretty soon. So 50% is going to AlphaPad, and then 15% is going to Moonshot. We're going to partner with Moonshot and give away, or I guess sell 15 million Aura. which is 15% of our supply on Moonshot. And then 10% goes to Treasury, 10% goes to liquidity, 10% goes to the team, and then 5% goes to marketing. We have a pretty big raise goal of 300,000 ALF on ALFPad, and then 30,000 USD on Moonshot. But with the current PA, I don't think it's that bad.
Of course, of course. It's Alf Banks had a big launch, but Alf was also at a higher valuation then, so it was a much more expensive launch than what we're looking at here. So I guess really my only other question, now that I know that you have pretty much everything planned and an entire system set up, and also seems like tokens taken care of as far as planning. What's the timeline looking like? Where's the product right now? Is the site almost ready? When
Sure.
testnet? When launch? When token sale? All that. This
Right.
is what everybody wants to hear.
Right.
Go ahead and tell us.
So the documentation is live. Like I mentioned, our docs are already public. So that's really like the first step in onboarding the community so they can read up on the details. I know that most people probably haven't even read the docs yet, and that's perfectly fine. Um, I'm glad you guys are listening in the AMA so you can get a little taste of what it's about. But as far as testnet goes, I'm looking to have a working testnet prior to the pre-sale. It shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 weeks before testnet is operational. Now, like when I set a date for, because Moonshot boxes will come 2 or 3 weeks prior to the AlfPad pre-sale. Um, the Sorry, I'm getting notifications and trying to read them and talk at the same time.
Uh-huh.
Um, like I was saying, Moonshot will come 2 or 3 weeks prior to the pre-sale, right? So I don't know necessarily if the testnet will be ready by then because we're going to be announcing like sale dates prior to the testnet being ready, right? So there might be a delay of like a week, but it's not going to be months. There's no like months long delay for testnet. It's pretty close to being ready. Right, and then the actual pre-sale and AlfPad should be a few months after Moonshots, and then we'll do an audit, and um, within like the next month we'll set up the legal entity and all that stuff, get like proper licenses, and we'll do an audit after the test net, and after the audit's done we'll make the changes if there's any changes we need to be made, and then we'll launch mainnet.
Sounds good. So obviously sounds like things are moving in motion, and we have a lot of important dates coming up, right? So not
Yeah.
too long of a wait, and that's something to be excited for. Um, we have about another 3 minutes. I think we covered pretty much everything we wanted to out of the token deep dive. I'm gonna check the replies for any questions. Only one I see says hello. When is the token launched on the APAD platform? I believe we already covered that, so we can move on from there. That's the only question we have. Um, Now's the time. If you just want to give some closing thoughts, maybe shill some stuff, invite people to join, whatever you want. Go ahead. Now's the time.
Yeah. So just like in a closing for Aura, read our docs if you haven't yet. Um, did you pinned it, right? Yeah, you pinned it. So
Yep.
yeah, read our docs. Ask any questions you want in our Telegram. I need questions. I love questions. Please ask. Um, and yeah, just get involved, right? Join our Telegram group, and read our docs and stay tuned for updates, I guess.
Awesome. Make sure you follow Aura, check out their docs. Of course, I know it's not the most exciting thing, but if that floats your boat, then go check it out.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that, Ron. All right.
Sorry. Um, but anyway, guys, yeah, so that's all we have from Hayden and Nora. Thank you for joining us. I do want to do a quick recap and break it down for some of the dummies like me, guys. This is a freaking no-brainer, okay? It's not like me and Hayden are stupid, okay? We've learned from being in Alephium and crypto for the past 2 years exactly how to launch a project. We have great connections, right? We've been talking to AlfPad, we've been talking to Raj, we've been talking to AlfBanks, we talk to all of these guys, and we see it every single day. We know what we're doing, right? Like we're on top of this stuff. Like We got this. And
Real
it's it
humble now,
really,
real humble.
but seriously, check it out because the way that Hayden has planned this to just seamlessly work together, such that you're incentivized to literally do anything without diluting the token is truly amazing. And I think that, although crypto sucks right now, it's something that the community is really going to enjoy and find rewarding. So, with that being said, I'm Ron. I'm not going to do my full shills right now for myself because I have a whole nother AMA to do. So, thanks for joining us, Hayden, and
Of course.
have a good Monday.
Thanks, you too.
I believe we may have just hit the limit for the raffle for our 3 gold whitelist spots. So if you didn't get in, then your time might be up. Looks like it is. Looks like only 4 people minted. Looks like it's going to be pretty easy to pick a winner then. Um, so let's move on to our next project. WeMine. It looks like we already have them on stage. WeMine, what's up? What do you got going on? Who do we have here?
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having us. Today, who do you have? My name is Maxim. I'm product marketing manager at WeMine. So I basically joined the project early February, basically. So yeah, quite recent for me. But yeah, super happy to be with you today. Thanks for the invitation. It's great also. Yeah, thanks for having this show, like discovering new project on Alephium. I mean, we need somewhere to start, and I think you're doing a great job here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the goal, right? Is just to give a platform to new projects. And if any investors in the Alephium ecosystem want to maybe hear some of these stuff and hear you answer some questions and whatnot, then this is the place to do it. So me personally, I've been looking forward to your project for a while. I've always loved mining, and so a mining project really fits in on a proof of work blockchain. Um, but it's been quite the journey. So, I'm interested to learn more about pretty much what you guys have had going on over the past, I guess year. So let's start it off. Who are you guys and what do you do?
So yeah, first of all, just myself, Maxime. So as I said, I joined the team recently with WeMine. I started investing more as an investor back in 2017, getting into crypto during ICO craze, basically, and yeah, got really hooked by the tech because I was working more for Web2 startup back then, and took me a few years to really get into crypto, understand what crypto was under the hood, and I joined a crypto exchange called Swissborg because I'm based in Geneva, Switzerland. So I joined them. Maybe you've heard, but Swissborg, it's a pretty big exchange here in Switzerland, and stayed with them for 4 years, and then joined a couple of other projects after that before joining WeMine. So WeMine is basically let's say kind of a joint venture because it involves the Alephium Foundation itself, and it's backed by Earth Mining. So Earth Mining is like a pretty big mining as a service based in the UAE, and they are serving mostly institutional investors right now. And the goal for them is to when they started collaborating with Alephium, they started first not just mining Alephium, but they also helped Alephium to get started with ASICs miners. They supported Alephium, I think, since almost the very beginning. And with the power of Alephium, they saw the opportunity to build with the capacity, of course, with smart contract and scalability of this proof of work blockchain. They really started to wanted to build something for mining, but not for institutional investors that time, more for everyone. So making mining accessible and simple for everyone, not just for institutionals as they are serving with Earth mining. So that was like, let's say, the genesis of WeMine. I know you mentioned this, like WeMine, not just WeMine, because they've been through some rebranding and a couple of projects before WeMine. Yes, the project went through different orientation in the past. I was not involved at that time, so I really just joined in February, and WeMine started at the same time when I joined the company. So I cannot give you much information on what was done previously. I know Mine.fi still exists, but I'm not the owner of the project, because when I joined myself, I started from a blank page, basically. So yeah, if you want like more information, we published an article on Medium about what was done before WeMine started. But right now, yeah, we're really focusing on tokenizing mining rigs. That's our first step. So if you go on our website, for example, we try to explain it simply that to make it easy and simple for everyone first to earn from mining, what we do is tokenization. Because taking a little step back right now, what's really challenging, it's in the RWA narrative, you want to first tokenize assets. So in our case, it's mining rigs, and you need it to be regulated. I mean, you need to make sure, legally speaking, you're allowed to give fractional ownership to people. And then in our case, next is to offer mining rewards to the NFT holders, because we tokenize mining rigs into NFTs. Those NFTs, you are eligible for mining rewards. And the next step is, of course, to unlock deeper liquidity. It's another challenge for everyone in with real world asset, is to use them as collateral. And of course, if you do that on the blockchain, you want to use DeFi to make sure your real world asset that is inherently illiquid becomes a more liquid asset that you can leverage on the market. So that's what we want to achieve. The first step for us is to have a product at the end of Q2 where we will let people basically buy NFTs and get eligible for mining rewards. So that will be our first step. Following that, we want, of course, to involve a token in our ecosystem. And after the token, we will launch the first DeFi product. So that's more or less where we're heading right now. A big component of what we're doing is sustainability, because right now it's difficult as well to really know, when you're mining, what type of energy source is used by the miner. And we want to offer that transparency. That's why within our network, we have a partnership with Gigaton and Gigatech. So if you've heard about them, they are also collaborating with Alephium to be able to be the first to really tokenize carbon credit at scale and distribute them on the secondary market. So we are part of these initiatives, and we hope to be among the first to be able to distribute certified carbon credit. On top of it, that's what we're trying to do is, of course, to be Alephium first, because we saw the power of the chain itself, and being on proof of work and able to offer this type of product make total sense for us. And it's definitely the right chain where we want to build, due to, of course, we know that Alephium, with the proof of less work, also pay attention to energy consumption and make sure we don't waste energy, even though it's a proof of work consensus. So that's really a go-to platform for us. We do plan to have a multi-chain approach, but with the only goal to drive liquidity to Alephium. So that's what we're trying to solve also with our first end product and roadmap in the near future. It's really how we can drive attention to Alephium. So what we do on Alephium, we want to be able to do it on other chains, but always keep our focus and innovation on Alephium. So that's it in a nutshell. Hope it was not too long of an intro.
You're all good, man. What we're gonna do now is I want to ask a little bit about the developers. So if you can't tell us who they are, can you at least maybe tell us something like, have they already been in Alephium? Have they already built stuff in Alephium, or are they like new devs, which would be a good thing, right? Because we need new devs.
So I'm not going to speak for the devs themselves. I'm not a developer. I'm kind of the opposite somehow, because I usually come with the UX, ideal UX that I'd like to see for the end user, and then I'll tell them, do it whatever. No, just kidding. But we're trying to solve like this, the UX that we have, generally speaking, let's say in crypto, that might be not always super easy for, let's say, Web2 users. But we're working with Invariant. So Invariant has been involved in the development of the previous, let's say, prototype of WeMine, and they were working with Mine.fi previously. They were already in touch with, as I said, we work directly with the Alephium core team, Maud, Bertrand, and the rest of the team. They are helping us a lot to develop the product. And Invariant, I don't know what they've built before on Alephium. I know that they were within the ecosystem, because they have like a DEX that is currently working on Solana and Eclipse, and they are on testnet on Alephium. And from the discussion I had with them, it was pretty simple. They said, for us, it's the only proof of work blockchain we'd like to develop and work on, because that's where we think there's a good opportunity to build DeFi product. And that's where we started with them. Also, what I like, it's because they are not, let's say, Alephium Maxi, because they started on other blockchain. They've also started on project on EVM. But I think that's a good point, because our approach is like, for example, we are building currently our platform to launch the sale, because the way it's going to work, to abstract the process of minting an NFT and so on, we first collect the fund on multiple chains. So you will be able to buy to purchase your NFT with an Alephium wallet, of course, but you will be able to do it on a SVM as well, EVM. So we try to make it, let's say, blockchain agnostic. And then we will mint on the Alephium blockchain the NFTs and send it to your wallet. And our goal is to, with the team, to always think like what we're building is going to work on Alephium, but we want also to make it abstract the technology and say it doesn't matter what's working in the background. We want to make it. We want to make sure the user experience is like easy and flawless. So as I said, I'm not going to speak for the team. The only thing I know that they are super involved and motivated by the project itself, and building on Alephium for them is like, something they want to add definitely on their track record, let's say.
Of course, I got you. So, one thing I wanted to touch on, and might be changing topics a little bit, is I've been in proof of work in crypto for a couple years now, and obviously I've been part of like cloud mining and NFT mining projects. And I will say I've seen some horror stories. A lot of them haven't worked out for me. So maybe talk a little bit about what you guys are doing to like ensure sustainability and make sure that the project remains sound and is able to run by itself without, I don't know, say Alephium goes to 10 cents tomorrow, then you might have trouble paying the power bill or something along those lines. I guess talk a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah, thanks for asking, because I forgot to discuss that part that is pretty important. First of all, we have nothing to do, let's say, with cloud mining. What we do is when we raise money, so it's transparent. First, all the funds are invested into miners, and then those miners, we offer transparency on transactions. So you will see from the rewards what is going to the NFT holders, with the fractional ownership of the mining rig, what is going to pay the bills in terms of electricity and service fees. And we also have something that is a dynamic fund that we call capital protection, that is here to make sure we take into consideration the depreciation of the mining hardware, which is something you don't see much into mining. But earth mining, they are like professional miners. They've been in the space for a couple of years, and they know what it is to make a sustainable investment. So that's why we are building this fund. Of course, that is the capital protection is owned by the NFT holders, but we manage this fund for them to make sure we will keep mining, and it's not because at some point your miners is not competitive anymore that the NFT collection is worth less. So we want to make sure we're sustainable. We will be transparent what we're building at the moment. Our goal is really to make sure you can basically, on our web app, you will see what you're earning as rewards, what is going to pay fees, and what is going in this capital protection fund. So we want to act as a fully transparent protocol first. Then to be sustainable financially speaking, yes, as you mentioned, proof of work, we're in a volatile market, and if you look the very short term, might be difficult to be sustainable while mining. That's why, first of all, we will start by mining Bitcoin to make sure we're sustainable on the near future, purely in terms of mining perspective. But we want to distribute ALF mining reward. ALF token as a reward. So we will convert basically Bitcoin automatically to ALF because we don't want to sell Alephium. We want to put a buying pressure on the ALF token. So we will take the yield of Bitcoin and basically distribute it as an ALF token on the Alephium blockchain. And then we will come with this is just what we are looking at the moment. It's more to build mining vault where we have some Alephium miners plus, for example, Bitcoin miners, and why not, for example, Doge miners as well. And we create a vault where we have a certain percentage that help, kind of mitigate the volatility of the market and make sure because that's always the thing. Like if you mine, you're mining ALF right now, you might say, yeah, I'm losing money or I'm struggling to cover my fees. But if the price goes 10, 20, 50x, you'll be happy. So that's always like a question of, perspective and time horizon. So we want to also push people to look at the long term. That's why we want to build those vaults and make sure in the future they can own a share of a vault that is mining different tokens, so they don't have to worry too much about the volatility, and we are sure that we can cover the fees of mining. So that's more or less how the angle we're taking at the moment.
Well, of course, you have to cover your tracks, right? And obviously, keeping a few percent is probably what it takes to, make sure you can keep yourself afloat and, not have to maybe start dipping into selling some of the rewards or maybe even something worse. So, definitely something to be happy that, is in place. Let's see, what else do I have for you? Well, first we'll check if there's any questions because that's always important to keep an eye on. Well, here's one. They say WeMine mentions powered by Hearst Mining and Gigatech. May you elaborate these relationships? I know you talked a little bit about that earlier, but I guess if you wanted to maybe go a little bit more into the context of this question, then go ahead.
Yeah. So right now we are really incubated with Hearst. So myself, I'm with the Hearst team on a daily basis. Then of course with Alephium as well, as we are part of the grant program, and then Gigatech right now. So Gigatech also have a partnership with Alephium. So it's like a combination of Hearst plus Alephium plus Gigaton that are working all together to tokenize carbon credit, open a secondary market on the blockchain. And so our partnership goes through Hearst because we are incubated by Hearst Mining. So the way it works, you have if you go on the Gigaton website, you have I think 2 articles about those partnerships. So I think they will do if you want really detailed information, there is one about the partnership with Earth Mining and another one about Alephium and Gigaton, if I'm right. So you can find really
Yes.
detailed information there.
Yep. And I've read those, so I can vouch for that. Yeah, check those out if you want more information. All right. Let's see. Well, I guess there's not really too much more deep dive stuff I have. We got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything you felt like we haven't covered that maybe you wanted to cover?
Yeah, there's one thing because I mentioned a bit the token, and token is always something we like to discuss, of course. And our approach is try to. I mentioned we aim to have the first NFT sale in Q2. Then our approach is, of course, to have like a mechanism with the token that will be vested within the NFT, which is something kind of by holding among the first collections of NFTs that we will put on the market. We want to vest some tokens, which I think it's a great mechanism because we want to be like kind of community centric. So this will be really like vested in those NFTs, and just by holding and by supporting us, you will get rewarded with tokens. So that's one approach. And the other one is like also the governance, because the way we want to evolve it's to be driven by the community. So the tokens also act as a vote that we want to have. And as the protocol evolves, we want also to have a buyback mechanism that will help us to keep distributing the mine token basically to the NFT holders, and try to find like this incentive for people just to join us and start mining as well, because we think we often take mining from the. Of course, it's important to be profitable, but it's also important to support the decentralization and the security of the network itself. So I think it's more the philosophical side of things, I guess. But we have to just remember that if nobody mines, there is no crypto industry, I guess, especially with Bitcoin. But I think it works for the rest of the proof of work tokens. And we really want to support that message as well, which is, I think, quite important to remind people that, meme coins, they are cool. It's fun, but that's not what drives this industry forward. So that's really what we want to push as well.
Yep.
Alephium is a great take, I guess, that needs our support.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are ready for the market to freaking grow up and move on from meme coins and actually value things that are, actually have good tech. But so let's dive into maybe a little bit of like, I guess you already talked about this a little bit, but maybe timelines and details. Number one thing I want to know is, I know you said NFT sale and launch Q2, which is right around the corner. Do you guys know how much you plan on raising through that NFT launch?
In terms of sale, no, not exactly. We're still doing the math right now. It also depends the market, because as we all know, like if the sentiment shifts, you can have much bigger expectation. But right now we are more in let's say in the conservative mode. No, I don't have proper number to give, but we will dimension the sales based on also the demand we have, because before running the sale, we'll go on the terrain in a couple of events, see how much people are on the whitelist first, and then make sure, we can adapt to the demand. Our goal is, of course, to be successful. We just aim to have a collection that will, work well, reflect the quality of our work, and giving a proper number right now, I would just, I think, shoot myself in the foot if I do that.
I see. I see. So, okay, so from a high level point of
You muted
girlfriend always
yourself.
calls me whenever I set up. Oh, I, yeah. Okay. So from a high level, it's going to be NFT launch, then token, then like the actual platform. Is that how it'll work? Or will the platform
Um,
launch with the NFTs?
I know if, yeah, maybe I did not explain quite clearly enough. No, with our first product, first NFT sale, we will have the platform live, and we will add features along the way. So the first platform will give you what you will be able to claim rewards already for your NFT. You will have like the first information about how much you claim, how much service fees you're paying, and so on. So you will have everything it needs to be, let's say, an individual miner on autopilot. And then next to it, we'll add more features and more collection once we have the token, because the token will come as a second step. So what we plan to do is to have the first collection in, as I say, in Q2. But if it goes well, we'll have like second, third collection. We will scale in Q3, Q4, and we'll scale as we go.
Cool. Sounds good. And obviously looking forward to, hearing more and seeing what you guys got. So I guess until then, we don't have much else here. So we have 5 minutes left in the space. I see yeah, so pretty much all I have is if you want to, provide some closing thoughts, address anything that maybe we didn't address, then now's the time.
I guess we've covered most of it. I will repeat myself, but it was like really great, and thanks for having us. And thank you for giving a voice to the project that are building on Alephium. I think it's essential. Hope we'll have the opportunity to come back, of course, as we're getting closer to the launch of the product. That's and thanks the audience, of course, for listening to us and spreading the good vibes of Alephium.
Awesome. Guys, of course, we have our call to action per usual, so make sure you give WeMine a follow. Check out their pinned tweet I have above. Obviously, follow me as well. Follow Aura, Alephium Gazette. Just follow everybody that has anything to do with Alephium in their name, honestly. So that's pretty much all I have. I could show my own projects too. Sexy Pepe, Lukai, shout out to Mod's dog. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. We're getting right at that mark, so I guess we can go ahead and close it down. So thanks everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week, and yeah, take care.
Yeah, thanks a lot.